Hey everybody, good morning. I'm a little late on this. Today I'm doing my Margarete Miller week 35. I usually post this on Sunday, but it was my husband's birthday, and even though we don't celebrate that, I'm putting that in quotes, we did a lot of things, together, and so I did not craft this weekend. We watched some shows, we cooked together, we ran errands, just kind of spent the time together. So, because a lot of times on weekends, he's doing his stuff and I'm doing my stuff. Because he works hard all week, and sometimes he does the fun stuff on the computer that he likes to do. So, and a lot of times I do my crafting on the weekends, even though I'm not currently working, but I do other stuff around the house and run all the errands and stuff during the week. So I probably craft one day, like I'm crafting today, and then I do it on the weekend. Anyway, that's all beside the point. So Margarete Miller, week 35. This one, this was one of those that I just started looking for the stuff this morning because it was throwing me for a loop. So let's go through it. So the first one is an old receipt or ledger fragment. Well, I printed out a digital that I had that the background is an old receipt. I'm trying to see here. I cut out this circle so you can see it's like it used to be a receipt for something. So I'm using that. And then an animal with hooves. I cut this hippo out. I love hippos. And he has a little birthday hat on. A piece of wrapping or pattern paper. So I already put this on my substrate. Is that what that's called? And this is a tissue paper like you would put into a gift, and I love it. For some reason it reminds me of my childhood because I am a child of the 70s and 80s, and so neon, this and that, I don't know, there's something about it that I really like, so I'm using this. An image of a candle or lantern. Well, because my hippo is wearing a hat, I have cut out a little birthday cake with a candle on it for him. And then this may be the prompt I don't do. Something you might leave behind. I struggled with that. I understand that, you leave behind. And I do have a pen sticker because I have a tendency to leave pens. I've left jewelry. On 2 separate trips, I've left jewelry behind. Not recently, but years and years ago. That's how I lost my favorite necklace. And I didn't really know exactly what to put. I was thinking he's leaving behind last year, or, if there'd been more candles, I might have said he was leaving behind whatever year, but there's only one candle on this cake I picked, so but if I accidentally leave things behind, it's a pen. And like I said, jewelry didn't seem to cut. But the way my mind kept going was, you leave behind your doubts, or you leave behind your fears, or you leave behind. So I don't know if I'm going to do that one. I may use the pen, I may not. So we'll see how this, I've sort of put this together, but it's always different when you don't have it glued down. So, and then the bonus was italicized text, and that's, if you can tell, that's what this is. So let me get to it here, see if I can make a decision about the leaving behind thing. the hippo could be leaving behind last year. I don't know. I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to interpret it. And I was struggling to come up with ways to interpret what I wanted to, what possibly I wanted to leave behind. I watched someone this morning who did theirs, and, well, I think they did it yesterday, but I was actually not on the internet yesterday. My husband's parents came over and we visited with them for a few hours, and like I said, we made dinner together. My husband doesn't like to celebrate his birthday, but I did little things. Not that I don't do things for him regularly, but like I made him a cobbler last week, which is, I didn't specify that it was a birthday cake or whatever, but he ate on that for days. And a couple months ago, I found a book that he had considered, we both had already read it, but he really wanted to read it again, and was thinking about owning it so he could read it again at some other, it was a book that really fascinated him. Sorry, I just realized I needed to put something under here. And that's where my brain is today. It's not Monday, it's Tuesday. So I didn't think this stood out very much, so I'm glad that I decided to use the glue stick today, since I can pull it up and put it back down. I wanted to, this ledger paper didn't really stand out against this very bright page, so I printed out, that is not going to be good. I cut out this, hang on. Yeah, that's fine. I cut out this circle of green just to kind of give it a little bit of contrast. But I couldn't seem to make the I didn't sleep well last night. Does anyone else have nights where they don't sleep well and then the next day is... And even though I'm not currently working, you would think I was working by how I'm not able to function after a 3-day weekend. Anyway, yeah, so I had bought him this book and I just handed it to him like 2 months ago. I got it at a used bookstore for $2 and I said, congratulations, because that's what I say to him instead of happy birthday. He really is anti-birthday. I don't know why. I mean, I think I talked about this in another thing, that I think it's just because when he was a child, because his birthday is always, it fell so often on Labor Day, parties didn't really happen much for him because people weren't around or they couldn't. So I think he always just sort of thinks about it as a more of a pain in the butt than anything. And so I took out this little saying here. It says, a party without cake is just a meeting. So I do things to celebrate his, day. Yesterday I said, congratulations, making it through another year. And he liked that. But, a party without cake is just, yeah. So I do have, do I want another little, or do I just want to put it on there? That's kind of, Anyway, we've been together so many years that it's kind of things like birthdays. I mean, like I said, I celebrate mine, you know, I would do a whole month of it if I could. And I have, in the past, taken quite a few days to celebrate my birthday. But although this year I wasn't anti-birthday, but I was just like, yeah, whatever. I think part of that's because one year we were out of the country, and that was probably my favorite way to spend the birthday. I climbed some hill in Prague to see a castle. That's what I did on my birthday. And then I had a beer in the park. And it was a fun way to bring in my new year. And then sorry, I want another, oh, maybe there. I wanted a little, oh, hello. You just fix that. Yes, I have had coffee today. I just am out there with my thoughts. I think I just covered up the hole I just punched, but that's okay. I'll just punch another hole in it in a minute. But, yeah, if you're getting through this rambling post today, I apologize. It's just having one of those low brain function days. So I guess I could always put the pen there. I have lost some of my favorite pens that way too. Just, you take them out, you use them for something, and then you accidentally hand them off. And then you realize you've left your best. And somehow this is, I don't even know if I ever talked about that before, like to my husband or daughter, but my daughter is the same way. She'll get so upset if she loses a pen that's her favorite pen. So we will just do this random pen laying here. To do our, sorry, this tissue paper. That's my only problem with tissue papers. It's so thin that I'm like trying to get it to stay down, and then I just glue it wrong. There we go. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe I should put like yeah, so I had originally thought that I would do like live your life, and that would mean, you know, leave your fear behind and live your life. Or love with all your heart, you know, leave behind your, again, fear. Maybe it's all fears. No, but there was another one. Oh, I was going to probably use, you don't look a day older. And I was going to say, leave your past year behind, and now you're, you know, moved on to a new age. Anyway, I think I'll just leave it at this today, because as you can see, I'm not at my best, and I'm kind of sad that there's a hole through this, but it's going to be, there's going to be a ring through it, so you won't notice it much. But let's see. So did I get everything? An old receipt or ledger fragment. Well, that's behind here. It's not old, but it's just digitally made to look old. An animal with hooves, this great hippo that I cut out of a greeting card. I had to take out some of his bottom there. A piece of wrapping paper or pattern paper. Well, that's the brightly floral in the back. An image of a candle. There it is right there. On his cake or her cake. Something you might leave behind. I have a pen. And then italicized text. Sorry about that. I went to do something on my computer and it started a video. And that's the background there. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there should be something there. I think this is going to be too, I know I just teased you with possibly my video ending, but I'm wondering if I put something like this, if that makes it seem more finished. It just doesn't seem finished to me. I have because see how, like, if I put something there, it looks finished. Hold on 1 second. The one thing, oh, wait. Now everybody's like, oh my goodness, why is she taking so long here? Hold on, I have these happy planner things because I was at one point really great about putting stuff in a planner and all this, and then I kind of lost steam, but somewhere I have these little sorry, I'm looking through all this stuff I had for planners. One of these has here. Sorry, this is what I'm looking for. Back when I used to scrapbook, they had, well, it's just like this red there. This is a rub-on that no longer is sticky, so, but see, I feel like that maybe finishes it off a little better. What do we think about that? But there's, back when I was scrapbooking, a company made these well, things that look sort of like this stuff, like the little black thing I put on there, or like this. I love finishing off a project with a little bit of a scalloped edge, and see, that just seems more finished to me, and I like that. And so this company Doodlebug, they made these 12 by 12 long if anybody remembers these scalloped edge things. And I wish I had bought like 50 of them because I would use them all the time. I use them. Sometimes if you see me using little, that's from that. I've saved every tiny scrap of them because to me, they just finish off a page. And so like this book, this is by Recollections from Michaels. They have, this is one of the reasons I bought this book. I mean, I liked the florals in it too, but I bought it because I absolutely love long strips, usually scalloped edge, but these were also something I bought, which was 12 by 12, you know, not 12 by 12, 12-inch long stitchings, because I didn't sew on things at that. You know, this would be great sewn right here, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, I may do it for myself, but I'm not going to do it on screen because, one, my sewing machine's in the other room. So, yeah, we tried to put the Da Vinci, but my computer's super old, and I'm kind of, here's the little doodlebug things I'm talking about. And my computer's really, really, really old. I mean, like, I think it's 12 years now. But I don't do changes with computers very well. And so I haven't been able to download, that's what I'm getting at, the software to edit stuff, because this graphic card in my computer is not good enough. It has enough space and enough memory or whatever it needs. But when we put it on, my computer's like, can't do this because the graphic card is not. So my husband wants to buy a new computer. And I know lots of people are like, just get a new computer. But I'm like, I hate new computers. So anyway, hopefully I'll be able to edit at some point. But right now I can't. So that is why you're getting a long, rambling, not sewn thing. If I sew it, I'll put it in the picture. But right now, I really like that this sort of finished it off. I just didn't like the white line. It just looked weird to me. And I love this paper. Yeah. So that's my Margarete Miller for this week. It's a long, rambling one. I told myself this was going to be a really short one because I had everything sort of planned out. But that is not something that happened. But yeah, so there we go. Week 35. Oof. I can't believe it was like 1 week we were working on 15 and I was like, wow, there's so much still to go this year. And now I'm like, it's almost over. So anyway, everyone, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening to my rambling, if you did. And I appreciate every single one of you. And this is kind of a bit of like craziness here, but I actually ended up liking it here with this edition. And so I'm very happy with how it came out. So I hope that you have a really wonderful week and that you haven't been thrown off by a shortened week. I think that's only for anyone watching in the US. I don't think like Australia or in Europe, like the UK or anywhere else, I don't think that you guys have Labor Day, like, well, not at the same time we do. So if you're in the US, I hope you're not bamboozled by a shortened week. And otherwise, I hope everyone else has a really great week. And I'll see you in a couple of days. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.